All right, for Thursday, we are going to do one more day of simplifying expressions. You will be quizzing tomorrow. So if you have questions, please contact me today and let me know so we can get those taken care of before the quiz. Now, at this point in the week, we all know what to do when we see the word simplify. We all know when we see this word simplify that that's going to require that we at least attempt to do two things. We need to see if we need to distribute, and we need to see if we need to combine like terms. So we need to at least consider these two things. These are the two things that have to be done in order to simplify. Now, video won't be very long today. I just wanted to do some problems that were maybe a little bit more complicated, you know, kind of working you up as we go through the week. So here is the first one I want us to take a look at. So, in the problem that you see in front of you, would you need to distribute? And the answer is yes. We would need to distribute because there are parentheses. So, we look right here in front of the parentheses, directly in front of it, right up against it to see what to distribute. And you'll notice that there's nothing there. The 14 is not right next to the parentheses. There's some separation there. So we're looking right here in front of them. And when we don't see anything there, remember that's when we add that invisible 1. So what number am I going to distribute? Well, what I can see is I've got this 1, but he gets to keep this minus sign that's in front of him. So I'm going to treat him like a negative 1. And I know he is going to get multiplied by each member of his group. So I look in here to see. The first member of his group is 2. The second member of his group is going to get to keep this minus in front of him because he's minus 3x, which makes that a negative 3x. So the highlighted part of this problem is what I'm going to do right now. Anything that's not highlighted, I'm not going to do anything to right now. So those are just going to move down. So 14 is going to move down, and then I'm going to start distributing. So I'm doing negative 1 times 2. That is negative 2. I'm doing negative 1 times negative 3x. So that is positive 3x. Then I have minus 7x minus 12. And the first step in simplifying is done. Now, time to move on to the like terms. The like terms are the ones with the same last name, the same variable part. So I start out with my first term of 14. He does not have a variable part. He does not have a last name. So who is like him? Well, minus 2 is like him, and minus 12 is like him. None of those terms that I just put in the red boxes have a variable part, so that makes them all alike. Notice I let each term keep the sign that was in front of him. That's really important. I keep saying it. I hope it's going to stick. All right, so here we go. Let's combine these. We're going to do 14 minus 2, which is 12. And then 12 minus 12 would be 0. So 14 minus 2 is 12. 12 minus 12 is 0. I'm not going to write that down. I don't need to write a 0 down. So those terms all just canceled each other out. So I move on to the next term. I'm going to let him keep that plus sign that's in front of him. He has a positive 3x. He has a last name or a variable part of x. So does minus 7x. He gets to keep that minus sign that's in front of him. So I'm going to combine the two that I just put in the blue boxes. I'm going to do a positive 3 minus 7, which is a negative 4. and then I let it keep that same last name. I let it keep that variable part of x. So negative 4x is the final answer to this pretty complicated looking problem. I would suggest definitely as you're doing the work, you draw the arrows when you distribute like I'm doing, maybe highlight the terms like I did, draw the boxes around your like terms. All of those strategies that I'm showing you are going to keep you on track and make sure you don't make the silly mistakes. Okay. All right, for this problem, distribute if necessary. It is going to be necessary that we distribute because we have parentheses. What number is directly in front of the parentheses? That would be this 4. But notice he will also get to hang on to his minus sign that's in front of him. So that number is a negative 4. Who are the members of his group? Well, 2x is the first member in the parentheses. That 5 that we see is going to get to keep that minus sign in front of him. So negative 5 is the second member of his group. So right now I'm doing all my work with the highlighted terms. Everybody else is just going to tag along for the ride. So 5x moves down. First, do negative 4 times 2x. That is a negative 8x. Then I do negative 4 times negative 5. That is a positive 20. So notice when it was negative I put a minus, when it's positive I put a plus, and now I just bring down plus x and plus 7. Step 1 is done, distributive is finished. Now let's see if we can combine like terms. So my first term is a 5x. Last name, variable part, is x. That is true for minus 8x. And for plus x, and I need to remember when I see him, plus x, he doesn't have a number like these two terms have. I need to remember there's a plus 1 there. So I'm going to write that in so I don't forget. So these three red terms are going to go together. 5 minus 8 is negative 3. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. And don't forget to reattach that variable part. Keep it the same though. All right, then I have my plus 20, my positive 20. Notice he doesn't have a last name. He doesn't have a variable part. This plus 7 is like that as well. So those two that I just put blue boxes around are like terms we're going to combine. Positive 20 plus 7. Positive 27. So negative 2x plus 27. Distribute, combine like terms. We've done this all week. Okay, this next one will be the last one for today. And it's the biggest problem out of all three. I'm going to make one quick change here. I'm going to make that a plus sign for a little variety. All right, so on this problem, first thing I'm going to do is distribute if it's necessary. And I see that it is, because I have two sets of parentheses. So for the first set of parentheses, when I look right in front of it, I see this 2. He's going to get to keep this plus sign that's in front of him. So I'm going to distribute a positive 2 to that group. Now when I come over here and look at this set of parentheses, right in front of it, I don't see a number. I see a minus sign, but no number. So I know what to do there. I know that means there's a 1 there. That 1 is going to get to keep that minus sign. So on this group, I'm going to distribute the number negative 1. Always look directly in front of your parentheses to see what you're distributing. Now let's look at the members of each group. In this group, the first member is 5x. In this group, the first member is 3x. Going back to my first group, the second member is going to get to keep that minus sign, so he is a -4. And in this group, that 7 is going to get to keep that plus sign, so he is a +7. So again here, right now, I'm going to work with only my highlighted numbers. The 4x and the -10 are going to wait around. So let's bring this 4x down. We're going to do +2 times 5x. 2 times 5 is 10, so this is going to be +10x. Don't forget to bring down that variable. Then we're going to do +2 times -4. +2 times -4 is -8. So notice I wrote -8 because of that negative. Moving on, I'm going to do -1 times 3x. -1 times 3 is -3. Attach that x. And then -1 times +7 is -7. And then we just bring down that -10. Lots of terms going on here. Let's see if we can combine the ones that are alike. So I start up front with 4x. I have a last name or a variable part that is just an x. So does +10x. And so does -3x. All of those are alike because their variable part is that plain old x. So we'll do what it says. 4 plus 10 is 14. 14 minus 3 is 11. So we get 11x out of those three. Use your calculator to check that. All right, now switching colors. I have a -8. Remember that 8 gets to keep that minus sign, so he's a -8. Notice he does not have a last name. He does not have a variable part. -7 is like that, and so is -10. Notice again how I'm letting each one keep that sign that's in front of them. So we're going to put the three blue ones together. -8 minus 7 is -15. -15 minus 10 is a -25. So notice on these three problems, more complicated definitely, but if we'll just be careful and think about what we're doing, distribute, combine like terms, watch those signs, we can get through any of these that we need to do. Use the strategies I've shown you in these examples. If you need to, re-watch these three examples. Quizzes tomorrow, so like I said, any questions, let me know today.